Afternoon all. Welcome to another video. So today I'm going to do a video on basically the front end of my bike. Long and short of it, I've got arthritis in both my wrists. What that means is it just hurts, or it did hurt. And when I did the King Alpha's Way a few years ago, my hands went really numb for about 4 months. I can't remember the name of the nerve in there, but because you sat on the handlebars a lot, it just gets battered by the rocks. Obviously a gravel bike is pretty rigid, and although I had the decent tyre pressures set up correctly and all that sort of stuff, it just ruined me. I mean, I did it in 38 hours, but if I'd done it in 5 days, it still would have hurt. So I'm going to go through the front end of my bike and what I've done bit by bit over the time now, to the point where now I get no pain whatsoever from riding on gravel. So here it goes. So just let me say before I start, I'm not sponsored by Redshift. It just so happens that their stuff is really good for this type of application, as in like to make the front end of your bike really comfy. So basically I've got these grips from Redshift. You've got one there and there's one you can't see, and it's under here. And basically what it is, it's a sort of ergonomic rubber grip. So this one here is for going downhill. So if you're descending or you just want a different position, and your hand just sits into there nicely. And then the one on here obviously is for when you're on the top of the drops, and it comes right round. So even when my hand's here or here, I'm pretty comfy. So that's the Redshift cruise control grips, they're called, or drop bar cruise control grips. Right, so over top of the grips, what I've done is I've double taped my handlebars. So as you can see here, not so much round the side because I didn't need it, because you're just really cutting into that. This is the bit your hand is on. So what I've done is I've double taped it. So when you get your old tape and you put your new tape on, just reuse your old tape underneath. Makes it nice and thick. It's just so nice and comfy. I mean, if you look at that, that's quite soft now, and it just takes a lot of the hits away when you're going over a lot of rocks. So I've double taped that, and I think underneath these as well, Chinelli do a little it's like a little gel strip. So I've put a little gel strip, I've just cut it just so it's under that bit there, and it's been an absolute godsend. So that's there, and obviously these grips here, just giving you that comfort in different positions. So probably the first thing you can do is tyre pressures. They'll always make you ride softer, and that's basically what a lot of people do. So that I can pretty much get my thumb in there. I don't really measure my tyre pressures, I just know. I'm just so used to it now. I can have a feel now, and I know that'd be perfect for going out gravel riding for the day. I'm quite a heavy rider, so I have probably a bit higher than what some people would have, but over the years I've learned what's good for me, what suits me. Never get punctures, so I know they're right, and they're comfy. So that was the first thing I ever did. When I first started doing the Ridgeway for the first time, or going on there, I had them way too hard. I slid around a lot and it just really hurt. And then I learnt to, or a friend said to me, let some air out of your tyres, so I did. So that was the first thing I did. Probably should have said that first, but anyway, I wanted to show you the handlebar setup first. The other thing I've done, let's bring the camera around here, is I've fitted a Redshift stem. These are brilliant. So whereas obviously a mountain bike has suspension or suspension forks, gravel bikes are predominantly rigid. This adds suspension, and basically it's about 20 mil. Let's push it. You can just about see it moving. Gives you about 20 mil of travel. It basically just takes the sting out of the rocks. It's great when you're going on British roads, especially when they're full of potholes. It's like when I first got it, and I don't even notice them now. When I first got it, it was like a revelation, but now I'm just so used to it. It's like you don't really feel the potholes anymore. It works. It's got a few polymers inside, and you get instructions on what polymers to put in based on your weight. Whack them in, and it's just a normal stem with some polymers in, and that's pretty much it. That was the first thing I bought to help with my my issues. And I'll tell you something now, I've got one on my bike and one on my lad's bike, and they're absolutely brilliant. Can't recommend them enough. So the next thing I did is I fitted some aero bars, as you can see. The aero bars are just to give me an extra position. If I'm going down a long straight road, I'll whack the aero bars on. It just gives me an extra position. Also, what the aero bars does is it gives you that sort of position for mounting things. So at the top here I can put a light on. Here I've got my Garmin, but you'll notice, and I'll just take this off, I've also got a mount here for my Garmin, and the reason for that is, so I'll just show you again, didn't show it very well, did I? There it is. It's actually on my stem. The reason for that is if I want to stop off at a shop and I don't want to mess around with my route of my Garmin, I just get this, whack that up there. You can put that anywhere. Stick my phone on my quad lock, and I basically plumb in where the shop is, follow it to the shop, and then I'll default them back to my Garmin. It just says messing around with my Garmin to find if I need to stop somewhere, like for an emergency, a bike shop or something like that. It can be done in the Garmin, but I don't like messing around with my route. And I've always got my phone with me anyway, so I'll use it for that. And then when I'm finished, I basically just tuck that away, whip the Garmin off, and the Garmin then goes back on here and tether it. So I've tethered it ever since the day I got it, and about 3 weeks ago I was going down the track and it flew off. I had a different mount on. The mount snapped, it flew off, and my my Garmin just swung in front of me. If I hadn't have done that, it'd have bounced on some concrete and rolled down a hill. So yeah, always use that tether. It don't get in your way, and it's there for a reason. So I predominantly ride a smaller frame, and what I found was that if you look at my stem at the moment, it's about 4 centimetres. It actually starts there and goes, see if I can get that on camera, there. So it's about 4 centimetres, and I've got a long bung which goes up to about here. Now, because I ride a smaller frame, I actually ride a medium frame and not a large, which I should. I just prefer it and I feel comfier on it. What it meant was I was having a really long stem, whacking my handlebars on there to get my handlebars high up. So I was risking that the carbon of the stem would snap. And I like my handlebars high because I've also got a bit of a twitchy back. So I like to be sit a little bit more upright. So then Redshift brought these out, and it's called the top shelf handlebar. So there's a 5 centimetre rise and a 7, which I've got. I tried the 5, and then I decided to go for the 7, and also I went a little bit wider. So I'm normally a 44 mil. I went for a 46 mil, just for a little bit more control when descending. What it does is it obviously attaches at the bottom here, but it puts the handlebar higher up by 7 centimetres, which means I've now got my stem at the recommended height here. But my handlebars are still, in fact, even higher than my old ones. And I tell you something now, that's been a game changer. And I can mount my aero bag just under here. So I've got loads of room there. My stem's not too high. And I tell you something now, that has been an absolute game changer. So yeah, they're the Redshift, and they've got a good flare as well if you look. The Redshift top shelf. Something else I'll mention about them. I don't normally ride on the drops, but the gap here, the drop here, is so shallow. Quite a lot of time now I find myself naturally going to the drops as I'm riding along. So it's sort of give me an extra position, because on my older handlebars they sort of came down here somewhere, say down here, so I wouldn't normally use the drops unless I was descending. So it's given me another good position. So there we are, done just in time for the rain. So if you like the video and it can be any use to you, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Say goodbye, Daisy. Say goodbye. She don't want to say goodbye. See you on the next one.